Welcome to the Stoppage Time edition of the Pitch to Pro podcast. This is a highlight reel of some of the best moments from the show so far, and every other week we will be bringing you a special 5 to 7 minute segment featuring the best stories, tales, and moments of the podcast. Talk a little bit about your experience just as residents, and you talked a little bit about it. I mean, hell, you built a bar because you didn't have a place that you could go to watch the footy, right? So like we've got that covered, but like talk about the growth of the region as residents, as people that are engaged in the community. And, you know, we talk about it all day long about how the club is going to be integrated into the community, very grassroots, right time, right place, and all those things. But, you know, talk to me a little bit about that and the growth and the stage that where we're at. Does it fit? We feel like it does, but does it fit now to bring this type of thing with the global population that we have now? Over 60% of the population base isn't from here, and soccer is the global game. Just talk a little bit about like kind of more NWA, the community, and how we might fit in, how you guys can see that, and exciting to see soccer become a bigger thing.
Yeah, I guess I can start on that one. So I'll be honest, when I first moved it, so I lived in Shanghai right before I moved here, which then was the biggest city in the world in terms of population, to then move to little old Bentonville I'd never heard of in northwest Arkansas, that had just became a wet county. And I thought people were teasing me for about 3 weeks when they kept saying, oh, well, you can drink here now. And like a few months ago, you couldn't. I thought, I didn't realize that was ever a thing. So I wasn't super comfortable when I first moved here. And then it seems very sparse and spread out, and there's no public transport, and a lot of things I was used to. But one thing I quickly realized is, one, it is a lot more diverse and international than it first seems. So I quickly found a group of Brits to start playing football with first thing in the morning. Mm-hmm. There is so many community-driven things, whether it's things around the square or it's different events at different locations in terms of just getting people together for whatever it is. Maybe there's an event at the church for a trunk or treat or a Christmas event and all this kind of stuff. So there was lots of things there as kind of a new family that we were, that existed, but you had to go and look for them. What I think has changed, other than just the scale of Bentonville in the last 2 years, is that community has just got so much more in terms of its events and the things that are going on, but it hasn't lost its closeness and what makes it special. I don't think there's anywhere, or if there is, I've never seen it, a place like Bentonville with a community where, of course, it feels safe and secure and it is still diverse, but it feels like one community. They'll come out and support anything, which I guess is the first reason why I think the soccer team's a great idea. And I'm not just talking the Razorbacks, but if there's an event like the Farmers Market first Friday downtown Bentonville, it's full. If there's a Christmas parade going on, it's full. If there is a celebration of something happening somewhere, you can guarantee you go there and it's going to be a bunch of people, some that you know, some that you don't. But I think Bentonville's community is just very supportive. They're very outgoing. I think we've got an obscene amount of restaurants and bars for a place as small as we are, but they all do very well. They're all there because I think the community just likes being out and about amongst itself. They're very family orientated, and I think when you combine that with the big corporations of international travelers that have come here, when you go further south down to like Rogers and Fayetteville, soccer team seems like a no-brainer. It's the most diverse international thing going in terms of sport. It'll combine those that are just curious, those that want to be with a family, and those that are just lunatics about kicking a ball around, and it'll bring them all together the way Bentonville and Northwest Arkansas does. So I love it here. This is home. I guess I could have still chose anywhere. I've chose this as my home from everywhere I've been, and I don't see myself going anywhere. So
yeah, same for me as far as making a home. There was we thought we might have had to move a couple years ago, and I was like, so
sad face. We never would.
Yeah, I was going to support the move. It worked well for my wife's career. I'm like, I'll support that. I really don't want to move. Because we live right behind the school that my kids go to. We've got our all the neighbors are our friends. We've got like what you'd wish for if you were like 40-year-old guy with a family that was settling down. So unfortunately that didn't work, or maybe fortunately, but I was very happy to stay here, and then double down when we started.
Oh, you're definitely
putting a lot into this bar. It's nice to have. It's this community's it's awesome. It's home.
We've seen you with some of the events we've done too. Like we did a Harry Potter trivia full. We did a flower arranging workshop thing with Samantha's Garden on Monday, and it was like 15, 20 people there to do that. And we've got a comedy night that's going to be sold out Thursday. Like, it seems to be whatever we put on, there is a big enough interested group that will come out and support it, which is awesome.
And that's been great. I love a lot of the growth is, yes, the people, but it's also the infrastructure, it's the amenities, it's the entertainment, which, unfortunately, fortunately, whatever you want to look at it, some of those things haven't quite kept pace with the people, and also the dynamic of the people that we're bringing, like the global population. Mm-hmm. And so, there's a little bit of an entertainment gap. Like, I love my Razorbacks. I love going to, the football games, the baseball games. We were just at, on Sunday, the Lady Razorbacks. Shout out to Mr. Colby Hale, winning a share of his SEC championship, 4th one. So I think I said that correctly. Sorry, Colby, if it's more or less. But just, great atmosphere. They had over 3,000 people there. It was I think their 4th top 10 attendance, like, in the country this year. So it's just, I think it speaks to, people love NWA, but they also love new things to do. Mm-hmm. And this is certainly going to fit that bill. I think that, it's really interesting and cool to see the increasing diversity of the region and people bringing new thought leadership into what the region could be and where it needs to go. And, I think the botanical kind of, for me, represents part of that. You guys took a bar concept, but you made it your own and made it distinct and made it different. And something that, I know we're friends, but it's something that's really unique and different and cool. And I think that's, again, speaks to people want to come, and you're getting great crowds, and hopefully that sustains. But at least in the beginning, for sure, it's kind of the new hip thing now, and you guys are getting that buzz, and people come and they have a good experience, they're going to come back. Yeah. Right.
We really did kind of smash two concepts together, with the sports pub, but then a beautiful botanical themed. And early on, people were like, well, do you know what your business plan is? I'm like, yeah, that's what it is. And they're like, well, you have to kind of pick one. I'm like, you have to trust us.
No, I don't.
In this physical space, in this city, with this population, with international population, with disposable income that have an interest in international sports, and with the vision that we had for, I'm like, this will work. It'll work, and it's not going to be as obtuse as it sounds without seeing it. Yeah. And honestly, there was a lot that it was the week before we opened, people came in, and even people close to us are like, oh, we get it now.
Yeah.
They're like, we couldn't visualize it. Yeah, obviously, no one's going to visualize that.
No, yeah.
But when you're explaining it, you're like, it's a soccer bar that has a lot of plants, and they're like, who are you trying to attract?
As soon as you say that, you look at them like, because they, I don't know, they think like a Borgons or Hooters or something. I'm like, you can be both. You can be a nice place to hang out that shows sport. You can be. And I mentioned before, the community comes and supports stuff, but there's a high bar in Northwest Arkansas. You can't just pedal out copy and paste crap, because they will just hammer down on that hard, and it will not last long. So we also know the standards had to be super high in everything that we did, and that'll be the same, right? People will come out and support that team. They haven't got to win every game,
no.
But if the owners care, and the staff care, and the players care, and everyone that shows up is like, they want it to be the best it can be, then it'll be there forever.
Thank you for joining us for this stoppage time special of the Pitch to Pro podcast. If you've enjoyed the conversation, you can click watch the full episode here. Be sure to tune in next Thursday for a new episode of the Pitch to Pro podcast, the official podcast of USL Arkansas. Available on YouTube, Instagram, and everywhere you get your podcasts.